Good morning, guys. We're back out here and we made a lot of progress yesterday. So I got up super early this morning and came flying out here to try to hopefully capitalize on a little bit more of what we're doing. Right down here, everything is bolted in. I do have to add a transmission mount in the rear, a motor mount in the front, right over here on the side, and the lower motor mounts down here, slave cylinder, a whole mess of stuff, but it's all the easy stuff. So the only thing that I'm really worried about is that rear motor mount back there. That's the only thing. So I'm gonna stick you guys over in the corner here, and I'm just gonna start putting stuff back together, hopefully. Gonna try to line up this motor mount right here on the side first, and once I have that mount on the transmission, I'm gonna try to take out this engine support bracket. Well, folks, the engine stand is out. This thing's all bolted in on its own mounts. We've got our rear mount needs a couple of bolts still underneath the car. I decided to not lay down underneath it today and get completely filthy, since as I have to go to the 9 to 5 in a little bit. I've got this side trans mount bolted up, the rear bolted up. The front still isn't there. We have to put our lower cross member in there, the support, and put our front mount on there. We have our slave cylinder to do. There's a whole plethora of things. T-case has to go in. I haven't gotten to that yet. Downpipe, but we did make some serious progress in only a few hours. To give you a better understanding of where I'm at here, you can actually see the rest of the drawings that I made crudely. We have the front mount, we have our transfer case bolts, we have one more bolt that goes in the back transmission mount to the transmission itself. It's actually this bolt right here on the back. Couldn't really reach it, so I gotta go under the car and do that. Slave cylinder has to go on, the bracket for the slave cylinder. Let's see. Oh, this 10 mil that goes on the spacer plate on the bottom of the transmission. There's a couple of things still, so there's still work to be done. Anyways, we'll see you tomorrow morning. Hopefully we can get this finished. Good morning, guys. We're back out here. It's the next morning. We got some progress on this thing, and so far I'm pretty happy actually where we're at. Being one guy working a full-time job and doing this on the side, it's coming out pretty good. So down here I gotta go over and tighten up my ball joint and put my new sway bar link on. Then I gotta crawl up underneath the car and I gotta put the bolt in the rear for the transmission, the 112 millimeter I believe it is, that had a helicoil in it for the dowel pin. That's the last transmission bolt that has to go in. Basically that's gonna get us pretty close to being wrapped up. I want to also get the slave cylinder mounted down here today. It's still just dangling. I'm just going to try to go through and tackle as much of this as possible and get to a good point today. That way tomorrow I can come out here, fill it up with fluids, take it off these jacks, and hopefully be ready to go for a test drive. So let's get started, guys. Lots to do. Getting there, guys. We've gotten a lot of stuff knocked out today, but not as much as I'd hoped. Unfortunately, I didn't get the transfer case mounted yet, but we do have the upper boost pipe installed. The plugs are in, the mounts are all done. I gotta flip this front mount here because I put it in upside down. I know some of you guys are probably gonna notice that. Shift linkage is in, cables are back down, slave cylinders back on, brackets on. I have to do the downpipe, the transfer case, and those bolts, and fill it with fluid. I have to put some gear oil in, and the last thing that I have to do is this sway bar link. Can't get the sway bar link on because I got this thing kind of up in the air, kind of like in a reverse dog leg, if that makes sense. Think of a dog pointing. He's got his right paw up in the air, so it's not really able to reach. So anyway, that's gonna wrap this day up. We're going to come back out here tomorrow morning. I have one more bolt that I have to put in on the bottom of the bell housing. It's the small one all the way in the back that was heel coiled. And once I'm done with that, we should be ready to fire this thing up and button up these last couple little minor things. We got to put our boost pipe back on down here. And there's not a whole hell of a lot left. Some plastic push rivets and a bumper. So I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow. What's going on, guys? Got the camera system charging upstairs, so I'm just recording this on my phone real fast, and wanted to give you a quick update on what's going on at the end of this. I've been out here for quite a while and have a lot to knock out, so I didn't really have time to record it all, but we do have everything attached up here in the transmission area. We've got our cables on. I just got to throw a couple of cotter pins through it. I got to crank down my axle nut. We got our lower cross member in. Our transfer case is all in there. I'm doing some of the finishing work right now. I got to fill it up with fluids. I got to tighten up my sway bar link and my axle over there, and then hopefully we can lower this thing on the ground. I am so close, but I have to go to work. Looks like I'm gonna have to pick this up tomorrow. We did get 95% everything bolted back in. Everything's full of fluids. Made an absolute mess on my little work mat. I've got my lower boost pipe halfway installed. It's over here, it's all tight, and I've got my boost reference hooked up. Things that are left to do, I have to tighten my lower ball joint down here. I have to put that sway bar link in. I have to put the splash guard back in. That's why this is still disconnected, so I can pass it up through. It kind of feeds through the little hole. But so far this transmission feels really buttery compared to my old one. The guy said it drove great. He said the bell housing got cracked, and it shifted perfectly though. So I think this one's probably going to be cosmetically in not so great condition, but internally it feels better already, just from running my shifter through the gears in the driver's seat. And the clutch pedal pressure feels fine. The engagement looks good. I checked the clutch fork to make sure that it was working correctly. I had the missus push the pedal a few times, but so far so good. We're in the real home stretch. I'm gonna have to charge this thing overnight probably, because I did leave the doors open and completely drained the battery. So I'm gonna work on getting this thing plugged in, and I think I'm gonna wrap it for the day. There's only a few more things left to do. Like I said, tightening up some boost pipe clamps and charging the battery, coolant overflow jug, splash guard, small stuff. Got most of this all cleaned up. It's been a hell of a process. This is day number 7 of taking it apart, you know, in between days off and full days at work. So I think I'm doing all right. Anyways, we'll see you again tomorrow and we'll wrap this thing up. Okay, boys, this is the last day we're going to be out here working. Just wanted to give you a quick once over before I get cracking on the last few things I need to do. Everything is buttoned up. Everything is tight, with the exception of the coolant overflow bottle, the intake, the upper intercooler pipe, this wheel sway bar link, and that cover that goes on the inside of the splash guard. Everything else is done. All that's left after that is a quick cleanup. I've got all my major tools and all that stuff already packed up, put away, cleaned up this project for the most part. Whew, it's been a long one, guys, but we're in the home stretch. So what I'm going to do today is just stick you guys in a couple of different viewing angles and just go through and start buttoning things up. I've got to go through. Well, guys, it's been 2 weeks and some days now, like 4, maybe 5 days. I can't recall. This thing's completely buttoned up. I got it off the jacks, off the stands and the ramps. She's fully put back together. Out behind, we got the Focus charging the battery, which is in the trunk. It was completely flat dead, so we're gonna let it charge for a few minutes, and then we're gonna fire this thing up. Alright guys, so I've been charging this thing with the Focus, sitting around the back side of the car here for about, I don't know, half an hour or so. I think it's time to give it a try. Let's see if this thing starts up, and I'm just gonna see if it'll go into all the gears real fast. So, fingers crossed, let's see what happens. Well boys, it fired right up. It's making a little bit of noise right now. It hasn't been running 14, 16 days, something like that. So I'm gonna call that it for the day. I'm gonna go take it for a little drive, see how it does, and basically just test everything out for a little while. And once I'm done with that, I will make another follow-up video letting you guys know how the clutch works and how everything feels. I just put it into first gear for a second and coasted it forward just a little bit right there. I'm gonna let it get up to full operating temperature, let the ECU relearn idle for a little while, and shut her off. Then I'm gonna take and move the Focus and go for a drive. But whew, it's finally done, guys. It's been a long time coming. So if you guys have enjoyed the mini series here doing the transmission and clutch, make sure you drop a like down below. Comment if there's anything you guys saw that I should have done different or better, or if I did something stupid, just let me know. I don't mind talking about that stuff. I'd rather do it the correct way than do it the wrong way twice. So I'm gonna let you guys go now. Make sure you subscribe and share with a buddy, and check out todaysprojectguide.com to further support the channel, and we will see you right here in the next episode, guys. Woo, what a fun one. Take care.